Hi everybody, it's me, Charles Norman, Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of AthleticSOS. And so in this one, I want to talk a little bit about that youth sports dysfunction. The dysfunction in youth sports is its saving grace. And I talked a little bit about this last week, but if I look a little more excited than normal, I just came back. September was the busiest month I've ever had. I just came back from the Teams conference and expo. It's TEAMS. It's a huge conference, and we did really, really well. And so we're on our way. This is phase one. I told you guys I'm going to do this ourselves. We're going to do this ourselves. And so this is phase one of that. If you guys don't know what AthleticSOS is, it's simply a software that we take your child's academic information, the sport they play, the level they can play at the collegiate level. They're trying to get an athletic scholarship. We'll show them all the schools they academically qualify to attend. And then they can take that and see if it fits them as a student athlete. Let them know where they're going to be. We give you contact information for the school, the coach, all of that. You can work with your high school coach. You can work with your travel club coach. And you guys are going to reach out, tell them where you're going to be, where you're performing, what high school you go to, whatever's going on in your life, and let them come see you because they know you want to be with them. And so we're being proactive instead of reactive. But at the same time, whatever else you were going to do, you were working with your travel club, your high school, you're going to a certain high school because you wanted to be discovered also, you're going to do that also. So you're going to stay with the traditional path, but you're going to go with our path. And so that's where we started here. And the idea when I started this is because I went through this with my daughter. I have a systems, a technical background. I did that for 30 plus years. So I built this because I was completely confused. None of it made sense to me. How in the world am I going to be trying to take my daughter, pay all this money, and hope she gets discovered? It made no sense to me. So I said, well, why don't we do something else? And the story's a long story, so I won't go through it here. But what I did was I built AthleticSOS. That's our first foray. And I started with the high school kids because they were the ones closest to ending up. They were the ones that were the most in trouble, is my opinion, because you only get a couple of years, right? By your senior year, you should have had that nailed down. If you're trying to find an opportunity in your senior year, you're almost too late. And so I wanted to solve that. And I think we did that. Now we're going to circle around because I'm in this world all of a sudden. I want to start it going back around, and we're going to start working with the 5 to 9 year olds, and then I want to work with the 10 to 12 year olds. So I got to put this whole program together. And that's what I've been trying to do for the last year and a half. And so the teams conference, I usually go to high school athletic directors conferences, state and local organizations. We go to state commissions, sports athletic commissions. I go to anything they're doing, and they're a little bit smaller. Some of them are big, but you know, I have to travel around, and I'm basically asking these schools to take us on. Hey, we have this cool software because I built it for high schools. Then I go and I start working with a lot of travel club programs, and I'm asking them to do it. But it's like I'm trying to knock off one at a time. But at the teams situation, what teams did was they are appointment based. So I'm going there, and the whole idea behind teams is that these really large organizations that control a lot of teams, they're all there. And what they're coming to look for are a couple of things. They're looking for where they're going to put on their next event, right? They put on these huge events, 700, 800 teams, you know, and they move around. They're in different states, and they're trying to put all this stuff together. They're looking for accommodations, hotel rooms, things like that. They're looking for insurance. They're looking for a lot of different things. And so they're going up and down. Instead of a normal conference where they go up and down the aisle and they look in here and they look in there, and you're hoping to get discovered, right? That's the way to do it. Normally when I go to these conferences, and sometimes people walking down the aisle and they're like trying not to look, and you're not quite sure if things are going to work out the way you want them to work out. Well, at teams, it's a little bit different. Before the conference, you go ahead and you set up appointments. Now, I request who I want to come to my booth, but they don't have to accept my request. And so I did get 40 people that agreed to stop by our booth, and every single one of them liked what we were doing. And most of them, I'm going to be doing the reach out. And I can tell you this about going to conferences and things like this. It's not until you, the following week when you do the follow-up, do you see if you really got what you thought you got at the conference. But here's the exciting part. So I'm showing off when people stop at our booth, you only get 8 minutes. You get 8 minutes to make this argument that they should be working with you. And these are huge organizations, right? And here, I'm going to say, I think I took a couple of pictures of the booth. I'm going to try to find them, and I'll probably put them up as we move forward. And there's these big elaborate companies there, right? You got Marriott and Hyatt and Hilton, and you've got the state commissions for every single state in the United States there. And you've got these elaborate booths, and we've got this little small thing with a desk, and I've got a projector, and I got a screen that I set up behind it. And when people came into our booth, my wife actually went with me on this one, and she even started laughing after a while because you could see the look on their face like, what is this person trying to do? What are they selling? Because we just don't look like we have anything. But by the time I got through with my 8-minute spiel, they were all in. And the reason I'm making this video, the reason I'm so excited about this, because is what I led with was, well, first I showed the software, right? And they were impressed with it. AthleticSOS is legit software. And I give you guys that are watching me right now, it's absolutely no cost to you guys. I give you a code, and I give you the instructions for how to use the code. Please use the software. They were all blown away with the software. But what I show you guys with the software and what you guys get to use is only on the parent side. You only see your side, but there's a whole back end built into the system. And so what I would do is I would show them how it would work with them, how they could work with their own kids, how their other teams. Let's say it's a big organization. They've got about 200 teams that are under their organization. Some of them have way more than that, but I'm just going to say 200 teams. Well, each of those teams could have their own code, or they could just have a general code. So anyways, as I'm going through this and I'm showing, they're like, wow, this is really good. This is really great. I go, but that's not why I'm here. I said, for everybody here that will work with me, I'm going to give you the software. It's yours. And so now everybody's side-eyeing me again. Like, what does that mean? You're going to give it to us. Hey, how do you make your money? That was absolutely the first question that was asked. I said, I'm going to show you guys. I go, because I'm building something. And so what I showed them was a new piece of software. It's taken me half a year to build because I'm doing this, I'm doing some other stuff. And so it took me half a year to build this out. And it's built. And so what it is there's a section in there that they are required to go in, and they're going to start filling out. And what that section says is, hey, we are the U.S. flag football, right? They were one of the people there. We're going to come in. We're going to tell you about some cool things that we're doing inside there. It could be some special training that we're doing. It could be a social hour that we're going to do. It could be we're going to be doing a special pricing on this thing. We're going to be doing a 6-week program. And they can do that, and the people that use their code will see that, but also the rest of you guys will see it too. Remember what I told you guys? I want your kids. There is a sport for every kid. And I think about almost every sport that's in our software. Everything from archery down to wrestling, everything in between there we've got in our system. And so I went after those kind of organizations, and I'm talking about the major ones, the U.S. skiing, the U.S. Junior golf, the U.S. Sailing, the U.S. everything. I went after all of those guys first, and they all came to the booth, and they all agreed with me that there has to be more for you guys, more for the parents. And the other thing that we had the discussion was, and that's why I'm really excited about all of this, is that they can't control you guys, the parents. And the pro sports, yes, they could say, you know, we're the NFL, we're the NBA, we're the NHL, we're the MLB, whatever the sport is, right? And so they could say, hey, if you guys want to be part of this, these are the rules. If you want to see this, these are the rules. Same thing in college now, right? You got the NCAA, the NAIA, the Junior College Associations. They make the rules for what's going on. But in the youth world, they can't control you guys. And these were organizations that had other organizations under them that you guys are joining, your travel club programs, but people are under these bigger organizations so they can go around and play in different areas. I went on the travel club circuit. I know what there is, but there's too many independent teams. There are too many independent parents, too many parents that say, hey, I don't like the way you're doing this. We're going to move over here instead. It's dysfunctional. And here's the other thing is those organizations are dysfunctional. There are organizations, like I said, with 500, 600, 700 teams that are under them. They don't even cooperate with each other. Those teams don't. So you have something in Southern California, they won't get along with Northern California, and Central California doesn't want to talk to either South or North because they all run in their own little fiefdoms. And because of that, we called it fractured is what the word I was using. They just called it dysfunction. They cannot wrestle all of the cats, right? They can't pull them all in together. And that is going to save youth sports. And that's going to allow us to do what we want to do. And so this is where we're moving to. And so what's going to happen in AthleticSOS, and you probably won't see it on the parent side until the beginning of the year. I got to get some people to start filling this stuff out for us. But what you're going to start being able to see is opportunities for you. Let's say you're in, I'm in Southern California, but we go do a tournament in Vegas, or we go to do a tournament in Oregon. And so when we get there, we're going to go to the AthleticSOS, and we're going to see a section in there where it's going to say, hey, what's going on in AthleticSOS in this area? What can I go do this week, this weekend? Instead of sitting at the hotel waiting for the games and then get something to eat after and come back to the hotel and we're all sitting around chopping it up. Everybody that's with AthleticSOS and what we're going to try to pull on, we are going to say, oh, look, they've got this other sport has this opportunity for us to just come and learn about the sport. Let's go check it out while we're out here. Now, the coach may say, hey, I don't want to do that. We need to all rest. We need to do this and that. But this is what is going to make this journey. Remember, I keep telling you guys, we're paralleling the normal athletic program. It's very important. I know these coaches are doing great work. I know they have practice. I know they have the games and they're setting everything up and they're doing a lot of hard work. But this is more important. What we're going to do is parallel that. We're going to say, hey, as long as we're going to do this and we're paying all this money to do it, we're going to make sure our kid has an adventure, that this journey is just as important as them playing. It's in parallel. That's what we're working on. And so if we're here, we're going to find some things to do around here that may not have anything, something that interests my kid outside of their sport. They're athlete and what's their and that's what we're going to start filling in. The second piece of that, I want them to meet other people. I want them to learn about other sports. They may connect with something else. We can still do this basketball, baseball, football, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, whatever the normal sports are. They can do that too. But they also, we want to just see, and it's here, and it's available, and we're a member of this cool group. And I want to meet some of the other parents, some of the other kids. I want my kid to meet some of these other kids. And so 10, 15, 20 years from now, maybe they connect, and maybe they decide to do something. The world has changed completely since 2020. I've said that over and over and over again, and all of these major organizations, they all agree. The world did change. It changed for them too. They're struggling a little bit. They're trying to get you guys to come and spend more and more and more money. It costs more and more and more to do things. They're trying to automate a lot of stuff, right? They've got this facial recognition now for if you come to the game to make sure you're the right kid, you're the right age, and you're playing. They've got all that stuff going on. They've got this ticketing systems now that they do, where you guys have to buy your tickets online now, right? You don't just go and hand them money. It's all moneyless now. But they're going to charge a little surcharge on top of that. All these companies are there. And some of these things you guys are saying no to. And so they need you guys, they need to give you something else. And we're going to be kind of that something else. But we're doing it for us, right? For the families, for the kids, for their future, to make this journey more important. Well, not more important, but it's just as important as the sport that your kid is playing. And so everyone's going to be included in this. And I'm incredibly excited about this. And it's all because you guys buck the system. You guys cannot be controlled. Youth sports is going to be just fine. I can't tell you how happy I am. So anyway, I'll be working really hard next week on following up to make sure that I get all these organizations set up. I don't think I want to play around with them. These are some pretty big companies that I talked to, and they seemed excited then, but I could lose them real fast. So I'm going to be spending all next week on that. Next week when I do this, when I come in the park and I talk, I'm going to start asking you guys for some favors. I'm going to start showing you some of the things that I've designed, that I've built, that I'm going to ask you guys to purchase from me. And it's going to allow me to move forward. I need to hire a few more people to work with me on the software. I just simply can't do it all. I've got a couple of people that are doing, helping me out now, but they're more volunteers than anything. I'd like to start compensating them. And then we're going to start moving into the Christmas world. I'm going to show you my favorite Christmas gift, and I hope you guys are going to buy it. I'll get a little bit of affiliate money from it, but I want to help this person out anyway. This guy is a great guy. He was about to quit doing this, and I begged him to just do it for one more year, and I'm going to see if my people will come through. So I'm going to show you that stuff. And then I'm going to show you the cool stuff that I had in my booth for the vision training. Remember I talked to you guys about that? And I'm showing you some of that stuff. And so all of that is going to be in the next few weeks as we move forward. I am incredibly excited about what's coming. We're going to do it ourselves. I told you, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to beg for anybody, and I think that a couple of people are going to go on the road with us. A lot of people there loved what we were doing, but they weren't the person to say, okay. So they're going to introduce me to some of those people. And so all I'm saying is we're moving forward, and you guys, they can't control you guys. And that is the most exciting piece of this. So we can do whatever we want as we move forward. And so if there are any other organizations that you guys are listening to me, and you have your own club travel program or something like that, or if you're a bigger organization and you'd like to work with us, I will set you guys up. You'll have your own code for your group, your organizations, or we can drill down. And if you have a bunch of organizations under you, but you don't really do a lot of that, you're an event provider, organizer, something like that, or if you're a state commission or a city commission or something like that, I'm working with all of them. Everybody said yes. Everyone that visited our booth said yes. And so I'm excited. And a couple of people, they told other people, and they came, and they weren't even part of our appointments, and they came to see what we were all about. And so I know we're on the right track. And I think everybody feels it. Everyone knows that they need to give more. They just don't know what to do it. So we built it ourselves. And I think that's what you have to do. And so this is my final part about this. If you have an idea, you have a thought, you have a dream, you have something you want to work with, you have to build it first. You can't go around talking about your great idea. You can't go around saying, hey, if I can get you guys to invest in this. You can't go around saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to do it a little bit later. You have to do it. You have to do it, and you have to suffer the consequences of doing something, and nobody knows who you are, and nobody is willing to work with you because they can't take a risk. Even when they came to our booth, the way it looked, I know what they were thinking. But once I started showing the software, we'd already built it. And the other thing that saved me was one of the big organizations there, one of the big groups there that we work with, I had their logo next to showing that I was using their code, and so they could see it. Now, all I said was, hey, this will be your logo, not theirs up there. And they knew that organization. And so that helped us move up. And I went and told the people from the other organization, I won't give their name out or anything, but I told them what I was doing, and they laughed, and they came over, they saw it, they said, okay, this is pretty smart, because everyone knew them. And so that's that social proof that we talk about all the time. But I got to them through a third party. I didn't even I would have never been able to talk to them. But another group that I was working with saw they're a streaming company, and they want to stream youth sports. And so they brought me along with them to give them extra ammunition when they went to talk to that company. And so that's the way business works. You have to be valuable to other people. And so, but then it all turns around, because now I go to this thing on my own, and they're there, and they know who I am, and everybody knows who they are. And here's a really funny part about it. A big group came to our booth, and they were very, very interested, and they were just excited about what we're doing, because it was something they were already looking for. And then they came back a couple of hours later, and the person I had talked to said, hey, we went to lunch with that group over there that you have that logo up for, and they said you're under contract with them. But I'm not. I'm under contract with that other third party, and it's only for our basic version of AthleticSOS. I'm not under contract with anyone. And so I'm not burning the other group, but I let them know I can work with them. And so that was the other thing I was going to say. Stay independent. Don't let someone come in and give you a couple of dollars, and now they have control of what you're doing. Because the one thing I have going for me, the one thing that I'm trying to accomplish, and the reason I can say no to some money offers that we're getting, is because I can ask one question and they can't say yes to it. Can you get this software in the hands of every single high school athlete? Can you do that? If you can do that, I'll sign off on it. But if you can't do it, then I need to work with other people. And I'm trying to help every kid. I'm not just trying to help these kids. And that's just with the AthleticSOS software. We got our other stuff going on right now. And so that is why I'm able to say no. That is why I'm able to hold on. But you have to have your reason why you're even doing what you're doing. And if you have that, you can take your time. And yes, you got to still keep working. I'm sorry. And yes, you got to still raise your kids. And yes, you got to still do all the other nonsense that you have to do. Yes, the price of everything is going up. And yes, you're having a lot of hard time. But when you start something, when you start doing something, now you see that there's possibilities outside. And you will feel that energy. Yeah, you'll get down sometimes. Me and my wife, we had to drag a bunch of stuff because we had to park in a parking lot because I couldn't ship all of our stuff. We just don't have the funding for all that stuff. We don't have a beautiful display booth and all of that kind of stuff. And we're dragging stuff across the thing. We have to make 2 trips, and it's a long ways. And she's giving me that look too, like, what are we doing? But even she felt the energy. When we were coming home, she was excited. My wife has been very, not suspect on it, but it just doesn't feel like anything's happening yet, right? And we've been doing this a long time. And I know, because I'm on the other side of it, I know we're making inroads. But she doesn't see it. She doesn't see it in our bank account for what all the effort we're putting in. But she saw the value of what we were doing at that. And she was actually pretty excited. And she took a lot of notes for me, something I never do. So every person that I met with, she's got the spreadsheet she put. My wife's an accountant. And so she took it in that direction instead of trying to know the software backwards and forwards like I do. And because it was meeting oriented, I only had 8 minutes, I could do all of the demos. And so that's how you work as a team. And it's going to take a while. Nobody's going to believe in you. Nobody thinks you should be doing this, and you're still working on that thing and all that cool stuff. But if you go and do something, you're going to build something for your family. And that's one of the things I always talk to everybody about. Okay, I'm going to get off this high horse. I'm very excited. I'm going to get back home today. I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to start working on those groups for next week. You guys can do this. We're going to do this for sure. I'm all in on this. But you guys are going to do something for yourselves. And you guys are going to be able to tell your stories. And if you already started on something because of something we've said or done, hey, put it down in the comments. I think other people want to hear that. Everybody wants to see if everybody else is doing something, which is very weird to me. I just go do what I'm going to do. But the world will not sit and waiting for you. There's nobody for you to blame anymore. 2020, the way technology is out there, there's nothing that you can't do. If you have the idea to do it, you're just going to have to step up and do it. You may have to get a second job to pay for it or whatever. I do stuff like that all the time. I'll pick up extra money doing some consulting on some stuff. I've got people that want me to come and do something. We get to visit places because people fly me out to speak at one of their engagements now. Never had that before in my life. It's not a lot of money, but they did pay for the plane ticket. So my wife will jump in with me and we'll just go do that. And we'll go a day earlier or stay a couple of extra days. What I'm asking you guys to do with your kids, that's the future. That journey is just as important as their athletic journey. Both can work, and we're going to make the big difference there. All right, guys. As always, best of luck to you in everything you do in all your endeavors, and we'll talk to you next week.